All right, I am feeling fired up for today's episode. Sassy Corinne is in the building. Let's freaking go. I am just like, I cannot wait to pour into you right now. I'm feeling hydrated. I just had my minerals and chill. I just did a reel on Instagram about this, and it was to an audio dancing to Missy Elliott, which is my jam. And I'm also on my walking pad right now. So we've got energy for days. Let's freaking go. So here's what we're talking about today. There are so many of my, not so many, every client I've had has heard the most dismissive things from their doctor on their fertility journey. Even honestly, when they haven't even been trying to conceive yet, just like crazy things our doctors will say to us that are dismissing how you actually feel, what's actually going on in your body, and not giving you any real answers. Like it is the most, some of the things that are said to us from our doctors is literally mind blowing to me. So I'm just want to like riff on that right now, and also to let you know that you're not alone if you've heard these things, and also that that is not always the case, and there are so many things you can actually do naturally to support your fertility. Like I'm just gonna like riff about things that my clients have heard from their doctors and that you maybe have heard as well, so you don't feel alone and you're like, okay, wait, what's going on with this? So like, okay, just try and conceive for 1 year. Like maybe you go to the doctor and you're like, okay, we've been trying for like 5 months, 7 months, whatever. They're like, okay, once you've been trying for a year, come back and we'll just immediately start IVF. Or you go to the doctor, oh, I have PCOS. Oh, okay, you have PCOS. Let's just immediately start Clomid and metformin. And then, if that doesn't work, we'll just go right into IVF as well. Or if you're over 35, all right, let's just do some, medication and or IVF because, you're over 35. So like your egg quality is shit. So you might as well like just get going with IVF. Or, you're not ovulating. Okay, let's just start letrozole. Or your egg or sperm quality is shit, so let's start IVF right away. Like your egg and sperm quality cannot change. Or you have ovarian failure, you're never going to be able to get pregnant. Literally, these are things that my clients have heard and that maybe you have also heard and experienced that is complete bullshit. First of all, your egg and sperm quality 100% can change and will change once you actually make the changes that are needed for it to improve. Like your egg and your sperm quality are just a direct reflection of the things that you are not doing in your diet and your lifestyle. We are bombarded with so much shit in our day-to-day life, and we do things in our day-to-day life that we don't even realize are negatively impacting our egg and sperm quality. Just the toxins alone that we are exposed to are impacting our quality. There are so many things you can do to change it, and it takes about 90 to 120 days for your egg and sperm quality to change. But to be told from a doctor, like literally my clients tell me these things, I'm like, I see actual red, that people are told that their egg and sperm quality can't change, because that is not true. Of course, there are like genetic disorders with sperm and stuff. I actually have a client who has her husband has a genetic disorder with sperm where like there's literally nothing you could do about it, but that's a disorder. That's not like you saying that you can't change your sperm quality. That's a completely different thing. It absolutely can change when you don't have like a genetic disorder thing going on. And you being told that it can't is so disempowering, and it's just making you believe that you immediately have to go into IVF or into medications or, or that you can't get pregnant, which is so insane to me. And what's even more, and also I had a client in the Trying to Conceive Accelerator. She was told she had ovarian failure and she would never be able to get pregnant. She was pregnant. She actually just had her baby, I don't know, maybe like 3 months ago, after 4 months of working together. And she was told she was not going to be able to get pregnant because she had ovarian failure. And she was like young 30s. Like it is just so mind blowing to me. And I am just so not here for it. Like we need to educate ourselves and empower ourselves so that when you go into an office and you do feel dismissed and you don't feel seen, you don't feel heard, you don't feel understood, and you feel like you're just being thrown medications or thrown bullshit quick answers that are not actually helping you get down to the root cause of the problem, you have enough awareness to know, like, okay, this is a red flag. If they're telling me this, okay, this is not the answer I'm looking for. So I can fire my doctor and I could go somewhere else to get support that I actually want to get, because it is up to you to do that, because they're not fucking doing it. And the fact that they don't even ask when you go in for fertility stuff, they do not ask you, okay, what's your diet like? What's your lifestyle like? Like, are you tracking your cycle? Do you know that you're ovulating? Let me see your BBT chart. Like, there is literally zero conversation about your nutrition and about your lifestyle when you go to the doctor to get, support on your fertility journey. It's just immediately, okay, let's do medication. What the actual fuck? That is so insane to me, because first of all, medical like interventions, there's always a time and place. Like, feel my heart with this. If you're going through IVF right now, like I said, I have clients that are, because of other factors like sperm things going on. Like, I'm not going to get into all that right now, but like, there is a time and place for it, 100%. And it's so awesome that we have this, science available where people can have babies that way. That's amazing. But, and this is a huge but, it is extremely important for you to make the necessary diet and lifestyle changes in your day-to-day life to prepare your body if you do need medical interventions. Because number one, a lot of the times you end up getting pregnant naturally and you will not need the medical interventions. And if you end up needing medical interventions, your body is now strong enough and prepared to handle it and for it to work. Because a lot of times people will just go straight to the medical interventions because their doctor tells them to, and they have not healed the actual problem with their fertility. And the same reason why they're not getting pregnant naturally is why the medical interventions are not working. I literally cannot count how many clients I've had that were trying for years. They tried letrozole, they tried Clomid, they tried IUIs, they tried IVF, and none of it worked. And then they joined the Mind Your Hormones method or the accelerator or whatever, and they got pregnant naturally because they healed the root cause of the problem. And the reason why the medical interventions weren't working is the same reason why they weren't naturally getting pregnant. So like, the fact that there is zero conversation about nutrition in the doctor's office is literally mind blowing. And it could go back to, it doesn't make them money, but also it's the education system. They're not taught anything about nutrition. Like, if you have friends or whatever who are doctors or nurses, they literally do not have education on nutrition. What the fuck? I just cannot, I literally can't deal with it. It is so insane to me, and it's not their fault because they're just doing their job. They're doing what they were literally taught to was, okay, here's a problem, here's the solution. And for them, like, what they were taught, the solution is what medication is going to help solve this problem. They were not taught to look at the body holistically. They were not taught to look at it, okay, where is this problem coming from? They were not taught about different nutrients and different systems. Well, obviously they're taught about systems in their body, like they're doctors, obviously, but they're not taught about how different foods you're eating and the way you're eating the foods and the timing and the lifestyle and the taxes, how all of that impacts your fertility, and how by changing those things, you can not very quickly, not overnight, but you can a lot more quickly than you would be doing it on your own, can actually see change in your egg quality. You can ovulate naturally. You can get pregnant, even if you have PCOS, even if you're over 35. Like, why is this all of a sudden all that's so crazy to me? Even if you've tried all these medical interventions, like, it is just something that I'm not like blown away by it anymore. I'm blown away by the nutrition thing. I'll just never get over it. That like they're not taught about nutrition. It's just so insane. I'm like hoping one day the education system will change, but as long as big pharma is controlling things, that's never going to happen. But that's a whole other conversation. But I like every time, whether it's a client, whether it's one of you messaging me, like, oh, my doctor told me X and I don't know what to do. I'm like, oh my God, I just get so heated because we were never taught this stuff in school. So many women will like believe it at face value. Like I did when I was, in my early 20s, not really early 20s, since I got my period. I literally got my period when I was 15 and a half. Ever since I got it, it was totally irregular. Like I would get it maybe 3 times a year, maybe. And then it went missing. Like that was for like 10 years. And then it went completely missing for 2 years, like literally nothing for 2 years. And my doctor would always say, as long as you get 3 to 4 periods a year, like you're good. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I just believed it. Why wouldn't I believe that? But my doctor is telling me that we're taught to trust our doctors. So my doctor is telling me, okay, cool. I just need 3 to 4 a year. Like I'm good. I don't need to worry about it. Yeah, actually I should have, because not only I wasn't trying to get pregnant at the time, but it increased my risk for osteoporosis, which is already something that's genetically, increased risk for in my family. And I wasn't producing progesterone for literally a decade, except maybe 3 times a year, which I don't even know if I was actually ovulating. I literally have no idea. I maybe not ever was because I wasn't tracking it at the time because I was never taught to. So we are just told these things and we believe it at face value because we're taught to trust our doctors instead of being taught that like about our bodies and to trust ourselves and to know how our bodies work and to know what actually affects our hormones and what actually affects our cycle and what affects our fertility. We're just taught, let's trust our doctors. Let's just believe what they say. this is the pill for this. This is the pill for this. Like, this is what just hit right on the table. This is what I have to do. Like, that is what we're taught. We're not taught to look at the body as a whole. We're not taught about root cause healing. We're not taught about what we can do to empower ourselves to be in the driver's seat of our health and to actually change what is going on in our body with the food that we're eating, with the shit that we're putting in our mind, with the toxins that are around us. Like, I just needed to preach to the choir, because I know if you are listening to this podcast, I know you feel me on this. And like, if you're on a walk, I feel like you're like you're heated. You're like, you got pep in your step like I do right now. Like, it's just we need to get this information out there as much as possible, because as much as it's way more mainstream now, like when I started this business back in, when did I start this? 2018 is when I think I graduated from nutrition school and started taking clients like slowly here and there. But I really, like, when I left teaching in August of 2020, that's when I started doing this full time. But even in the beginning of 2020, when I started like showing up online, I remember it was like January or February. I did like my first story on Instagram. God, if I went back and looked at it, I'd be like cringing. It was so horrible. Anyway, like, there were not that many people talking about this. Like, there were not that many people coming on like I was and being like, hey, I didn't have a period for, a year or two. I had facial hair growth, like all this stuff. Like, people weren't talking about it as much even back then. And now so many more people are, and it's amazing that it's more mainstream than it ever was. But there are still hundreds and thousands of women that do not have this information, that just go and are on this hamster wheel of medication after medication, listening to their doctors, not knowing what to do, feeling like they're defeated, they're dismissed, like they just don't know what to do. And like, this podcast and obviously everything I do in my business is really meant to help educate as many women as possible, so that you do feel empowered, so that you can make changes without feeling like you're stuck and your back is against a wall and you have to, quote unquote, have to take a medication that you don't actually want to take, and that might not be needed yet. Obviously, disclaimer, if you're on medication, you're doing medication, like, this is not medical advice. This is just for education purpose only. And consult your doctor before stopping or taking any medications, okay? There's a disclaimer. So anyway, that is my rant for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And please share this podcast, this episode, or any of the episodes with someone in your life, with a friend, with a sister or a cousin or a coworker or whatever, so we can get this information out there, so that women, like, as a collective, we can feel more empowered, we can understand our bodies, we can like just do all the things and not just trust the doctor at face value. We can go in the office and be like, no, actually, that's not true, and I'm out, and you're fired. Bye. Like, that's what we need to do. So thank you for being here, share this episode. And obviously, if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down, I need some more of this, I want you want like the step-by-step roadmap, literally the method I created that not only helped me get pregnant after not having a period for 2 years, I regulated out, have PCOS, got pregnant on the first try, all the things, helped hundreds of clients do the same, even when their doctors told them all this bullshit. That's the Mind Your Hormones method, literally step by step by step. This method works. Like, you just need to get your hands on it. I'll just talk about this literally till the day I die. It is in the show notes. You can always use code podcast for 10% off. Obviously, if you have any questions about it, just come find me. But it's so good. It's so good. I love it so much. Anyway, I love you. Thank you for being here. Share this with someone. Thanks for being here for my, pep talk, sassy Corinne side. And I will talk to you in the next episode.
Thank you so much for being here. If you loved this episode and learned something valuable, please share it with a friend who you think would also love it, or post it on social media and tag me so I could personally say thank you for helping me spread this important message. I am beyond grateful to be here with you. So until next time, stay intentional, stay consistent, and always mind your hormones.